But first, the common steel spring. This spring is important because it's part of a luxury handmade leather bicycle saddle, which has been keeping cyclists behind comfortable for more than 140 years. These luxury saddles are made by a company called Brooks here in the UK. Although times have moved on, they still make some of their original designs that are over 100 years old. The first thing that goes into this signature seat is the frame. The design is so good that in the 1920s, most Tour de France competitors used these high-quality saddles. Times have moved on at the competitive level, but the construction process remains the same. The counters that keep track of what's being used are clockwork. There's no laser-guided computer to malfunction here, and the quality control is also performed the old-fashioned way. Keeping with tradition, these handmade saddles shun the modern substances like plastic. Instead, the manufacturers use traditional leather for the seat. However, unlike modern malleable plastics which can be turned into any shape very easily, leather is very stiff in its original form. To get it into a more manageable state, the workers will bathe these pre-cut seat templates in plain water for 2 hours. This will help soften the material ready for the next stage. With the sharpened blade, the worker can now shape the leather seat precisely. Whilst the press holds it in the right form, he can cut away the extra material from around the edges. What emerges already looks like a bicycle saddle, but it wouldn't give you much support like this. Heating wet leather can damage it, but not here. The saddles are now cooked for 2 hours at 50 degrees Celsius, which helps strengthen the fibers in the material. With modern production methods being readily available and far cheaper, you may be wondering why anyone would want a tough old leather seat instead of a comfy rubber one. Well, it may surprise you to learn that this ancient seat design is actually better for you than modern rubber seats. Tested in laboratory conditions, the modern saddle was compared to the handmade leather variety. Sensors on the modern saddle reveal red areas. This shows excessive pressure which can lead to tissue damage in the long run. When the same equipment was tried on the 140-year-old design, the results were unexpected. The old-fashioned shape seemed to support the rider far better. This would mean a far more comfortable ride. Perhaps moving with the times isn't always for the best. The innovative British design is popular because it seems to work better, but there are also modern trends to consider. Retro styling is becoming more fashionable again. So, with the saddles in the right shape, they now need to be given some reinforcement. Rivets and the pre-made steel attachments are added to the leather seat. Without them, there would be no way to join the seat to the framework. The seat support is divided into 2 parts. The springs at the back of the saddle will provide suspension, acting like shock absorbers would on a car. This will make the cyclist's ride much more comfortable. The framework attached to the front of the seat provides support, balance and strength to help it survive plenty of use. Staff here are particularly proud of one customer's story. Apparently he's had the same saddle on his bike that he bought over 60 years ago, and it's as comfortable now as the day he bought it. Fitting all the components together is another part of the handmade process that gives these saddles their famous quality. Each specific part is adjusted by hand to ensure that it's properly assembled. The attention to detail that comes with a bespoke saddle goes a long way to ensuring customer satisfaction. This is particularly important when assembling the front of the seat. Customers expect expensive products to last, so helpful little tools have been incorporated into the saddle's design. Included in the front section is an adjustable nut. As the leather wears over time, it stretches, and this nut can be used to tighten it back up once more. The bespoke leather saddle is nearly complete. It can take up to 90 days of hard labour to reach this point, so it's no surprise that these saddles can cost as much as £200. A final buffing with some high quality wax improves the final appearance, and they're ready to go. This traditional design helps put the spring back into your Sunday afternoon cycle ride.